What is up, YouTube? ODST General back again with another Operation Trebuchet news update. So guys, we are fast approaching Christmas here, depending on when you guys are watching this video. And I've got a few goodies for you guys. It's been kind of a crazy time for Operation Trebuchet in the sense that we just got first contact. And there's already been talk of another update coming out within a month of first contact, which was Thanksgiving. So we could be expecting a Operation Trebuchet normal mod update anywhere in the next couple weeks. So about a month would be right around Christmas, but I suspect we will be seeing it a little bit later than that, just because, well, Christmas Day would make a excellent update release day. A lot of people are spending time with their families, and that includes the development teams, so I don't really foresee that happening necessarily. Instead, it's more likely, I suspect, with this new update, if it does come out when Scorch has kind of vaguely predicted, we might be seeing it closer to the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, possibly, since a lot of people still have that off anyways, and it's not as much of a family holiday in a lot of instances, at least. But, you know, regardless of when we may or may not expect this update, we've got a number of various pieces of news, some of which will excite you guys more than others, I suspect, but it's all pretty neat stuff no matter how you look at it. So the first thing we have is a new radio backpack being worked on by the dog. I don't know if this will be a replacement for the current radio backpacks or if it will be an additional radio. The dog said that he's not sure himself. And that's a question more geared for Scorch. I don't know if an answer was ever made to this, unfortunately, but it is a very good-looking radio backpack. I do like the ones in the mod currently, so it'd be, I think, kind of just nice to see this as an addition, but at the same time, it does look very similar in design to at least one of the pre-existing radio backpacks. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what they do with this one, if it's going to be a replacement, or if it's just going to be like an additional radio backpack people will have access to for more variation. Beyond that, I don't think there is anything else that we can really divine, any hidden secrets or anything looking at this. Just a nice looking model, so we'll go ahead and keep moving on. Now we've got Zephyr's battle rifle in the mod finally here. It is in game. Excellent, gorgeous looking weapon. Now there is something here I noticed, which is that the hand replacement on the reload seems to be correct. Now I don't know if this is the standard bullpup animation that they had kind of used originally, or if this is actually based off one of those custom animations we saw some time ago. Unfortunately, I can't remember who was working on those animations. I know a lot of the people who were new devs that joined the team at that time had all left. I don't think that was Bacon Shelf or Immortal Phoenix that was working on that. And I don't think Lackrack was doing those animations either. I'm fairly certain. I'm not positive though. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, it is a pretty good looking battle rifle, you know, and this only shows the one version in these photos, I do believe, yeah. But bear in mind, this will be a little bit more modular, kind of like the DMR that's currently in the mod, with the updated DMR, I should say. Not much else, once again, that can be said about that, though. Just a better looking battle rifle, but nothing really hidden in there that we can kind of see. So, keep going on here. We've got some new gloves, so this is probably going to be like the least exciting thing from this update note or update news I'm giving you guys here. So just a kind of a nice quality of life replacement, I suppose. I don't even know if that qualifies as quality of life, but you know, just part of that kind of general updating they've been doing as far as getting like all the uniforms and stuff like that in line with their new design methods. And then we've got some shadows. So this was actually teased yesterday, and we already know what this is for because everybody in the community guessed it pretty darn quickly. So we've got 3 shadows here. We've got 2 taller figures and 1 person that's clearly a human. There was a few different guesses that a lot of people had kind of come up with. That included... Oops, sorry guys. noticed my phone was on the table, so I picked it up just in case somebody decided to call or text me. I didn't want it vibrating and I drop it. Anyways, some people had guessed that these were maybe elites with bigger models, or brutes even, or even Spartans. The Spartans was definitely the better guess, because then we see this next picture in which case we clearly see the Spartan 3 design that Zephyr had done, the Noble 6 helmets, combined with, I think those are the security arms. I can't remember which ones they're called in Reach, but the bigger ones that we have in the mod. And then we've got finally a actual picture released. Now this is being worked on by a few people. I think it's being kind of headed up by a developer named Rob, R-O-B-B. So we've got an ODST, a Spartan 3, and a Spartan 2 Halo CEA version, all standing next to each other here. The ODST is very clearly shorter than the Spartan 2 and the Spartan 3, even by a little bit. So basically, this is what the developers were teasing. Jedi and a few others were kind of teasing about a month ago, back during the first Contact update. They had indicated they had found a workaround to possibly doing the Covenant. So what this is basically they take the standard pre-existing animations and models. They found a way of scaling them up larger. This does still mean they have to redo every animation individually for this to work properly. So it is still a time-consuming effort by the devs. But with that being said, they are also able to move the camera up. So that was one of the questions somebody had, is that you'll be seeing things through like chest view, or kind of like the elites, where even though you don't see the head with the camera, your camera's still a little bit below where the head is on the elites. In this case, your camera will actually be taller when you are a Spartan. Same thing with Spartan 3 and so on and so forth. So you are going to be seeing things from a height difference. So I think the feeling of a Spartan being more powerful, the idea of it even without the energy shielding, will grow with this, because you are going to be literally like, what is that, probably like a foot or so taller than your standard Marine counterpart. And even as a Spartan 3, that you'll get a little bit of that feeling too. So this is probably the coolest update news, just because this also means that they can now start looking at doing their own version of the brutes and their own, like, updating the elites. The elites are going to get this overhaul, it already sounds like. It means they can go much larger on the scaling efforts, because while the elites were bigger, they were still limited by having to use the same scaled animations. So even though the heads were a little bit taller, the arms and stuff had to be basically in the same place that like a regular human player model would be. But that means they can also take this in the opposite direction. It doesn't just have to be bigger. They can go smaller. They can scale it down for grunts, jackals. The only drawback to this method is that they don't have to like rebuild an animation from scratch. It is still using like the normal human animations. So when you look at, like, say this compared to Morthon's brutes, which are still very much work in progress, with his brutes, you look at them and they feel very unique compared to the Arma 3 models, because they have their own custom animations. You know, you look at them, they will hold out a spiker with one arm. You know, they're kind of hunched over a little bit in a lot of instances. They stand in their static poses or their idle animations very differently. So unfortunately, with this method, you don't get that, but it does mean that it opens up the Covenant a lot sooner rather than later, because the ease of implementing them and becomes significantly easier. You don't need to build up all the new the new skeleton and the new animations from scratch. So what I don't know is how easy it is to replace specific animations, because now that the devs can say scale up something, is it easier for them to say, hey, even though Morthon has his brutes, or maybe go to Morthon and say, hey, you want to just donate your brute model, we can use our method to scale it up or whatever. It's already scaled up, I guess, but you know, we'll now implement our own animations for the rest of it, or maybe say use the scaled up method to do some of the animations and then create some of their own. I don't know how viable something like that will be. I suspect that the devs are probably exploring that possibility themselves already, given the path that they're on. That seems the next logical conclusion for what they would probably do. At any rate, guys, though, that is all there is to talk about right now. there is a couple other things I'll probably have to talk about next week that I haven't had a chance to check out, like the new Covenant battle cruiser composition that's been up on the Steam Workshop, but I haven't had an opportunity to check that out yet, so I'll have to get back to you guys on that one whenever I get a chance to look at it. Other than that, guys, take it easy. Depending on when you're seeing this, have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the next one.